All right, welcome. Today we're going to break down this really powerful formula for turning, good work into great work. It's a combination of two things you've probably heard a million times, but we're going to look at them in a completely new way. Thinking smart and working hard. Let's dive right in.
I mean, have you ever felt like this? I think we've all been there, right? You put in the hours, you follow all the instructions to the letter, but the result just feels kind of average. You know there's this huge gap between just getting a job done and creating something that genuinely stands out. So how do we actually bridge that gap?
Okay, so to really get this, let's follow a story. Meet Maya. Her team was assigned a history project on the Industrial Revolution, and the prompt was super simple. Discuss the impact of a key invention. Now, this is the kind of prompt that usually leads to a predictable, by-the-book PowerPoint you've seen 1,000 times. But Maya, she decided to take a different approach.
So get this. Her first move wasn't to just jump in and start working. Nope. It was to stop and think. She looked past the basic instructions to really understand the why behind the whole project. And that right there is the essence of critical thinking.
This whole process really breaks down into 3 core steps. First, Maya's team started by questioning their assumptions. They were like, is this simple report what our teacher really wants to see, or is she actually testing our creativity here? Then, they evaluated the evidence. They looked at the grading rubric, and boom, there it was, points for originality. So finally, they formed their conclusion. The real goal wasn't just to spit back a bunch of facts, but to show they deeply understood the era's impact.
And that right there, that was their big aha moment. They realized the project wasn't some kind of memory test. It was a test of their ability to make an informed choice about the best way to show what they learned. A simple report? That was just one option on the table, not the finish line itself.
And once they had this totally new perspective, everything just clicked. It's like their critical thinking unlocked this door to real innovation. They weren't just checking a box anymore. They were actually ready to create something memorable.
This really highlights the difference between conventional thinking and what we call lateral thinking. Conventional thinking would have sent them straight down that predictable path to a PowerPoint about, the steam engine. But by using lateral thinking, they started looking at the whole problem from totally new angles, asking what if instead of just what's expected.
So they launched into this big brainstorming session with a few key rules. First off, no idea was a bad idea. Nothing was off limits. They started building on each other's suggestions, and suddenly this generic idea for a simple presentation completely transformed. It became a plan for an interactive digital exhibit, a virtual tour of a Victorian city showing how multiple inventions change daily life. And the team's whole vibe shifted from obligation to just genuine excitement.
Okay, but a brilliant idea is, well, just a dream without execution, right? A great plan needs a great work ethic to actually become a reality. And this is where Maya's team really sealed the deal, building their success and their reputation on a foundation of trust and sheer professionalism.
It all started with the simple stuff, like punctuality. For a complex digital project like theirs, hitting milestones was absolutely critical. When the person coding the interface and the person creating the 3D models both delivered on time, it showed mutual respect and kept the entire project on track. It stopped that whole cascade of delays before it could even start.
And then there's reliability. Every single person on that team did what they said they were going to do. The person tasked with researching historical details for the virtual city, they provided super accurate information right when it was needed. That created this culture of trust where everyone knew, without a doubt, that they could count on their teammates to deliver their piece of the puzzle.
And that brings us to responsibility. Each person completely owned their part of the project. So, when a bug popped up late one night in the interactive map, the student responsible didn't make excuses, they just owned it, and they fixed it. It's that collective ownership that really pushed the quality of the final product through the roof and built their reputation for doing excellent work.
All right, so now we have all the pieces on the board, right? We've got the smart thinking, the creative ideas, and that rock-solid work ethic. Let's see how they all snap together to create something really special.
So first, you take that sharp critical thinking, questioning assumptions and digging deeper. And you mix it with the pure innovation of lateral thinking and brainstorming. So what do you get when you put those two together?
You get a brilliant plan. And I don't just mean a plan to check the boxes and get the work done. I mean a smart, creative, truly innovative strategy for achieving something amazing. But of course, a plan by itself isn't enough, is it?
You've got to add that final crucial ingredient, the execution. You take that brilliant plan and you power it with a strong work ethic, one that's built on punctuality, reliability, and responsibility. And when you put those together, You become literally unstoppable. And that, right there, is the key takeaway. That combination of a really creative strategy and a disciplined work ethic, that's what separates the good from the truly great. So what happened with Maya's team in the end? Well, as you can probably guess, their project was a massive success. It didn't just meet the requirements, it blew them out of the water. That interactive exhibit wasn't just another assignment to be graded and then forgotten, it was memorable. It really stood out, all because they didn't just work hard, they worked smart, and they worked with a real sense of purpose.
So, that really just leaves us with one last question for you to think about. This formula, it's not just for some school project, right? It's for your career, it's for your personal goals, it's for anything you really want to achieve. So the question is, what will you build with it?